And then it's possible to start to feel frustrated because I continue not understanding this stuff. Hi, Steve Coffin here, and today I want to talk about focus in language learning. All right. And the reason I'm doing that is because recently I've had sort of problems. Oh, by the way, if you enjoy my videos, please click on the bell for notifications. Please subscribe. And if you follow me on a podcast service, please leave a comment. I do appreciate it. So, focus. So I was having trouble with my camera. All of a sudden, it was all out of focus. So the background was out of focus, and even where I was speaking was kind of out of focus. And I couldn't get it to work. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get the focus sharp the way it's supposed to be. Now, fortunately, my son was over, and he grabbed the camera, and he identified by deduction that all of the stuff that I was trying to change, autofocus, this and that, I'd never touched before. So maybe, Dad, it's not so smart to think that that's going to solve the problem. It's something else. And sure enough, there was a setting that, that you kind of, either you were in VA for, I guess, video or something. That's where I was. That's not where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be on something else, A+. So with that, and I haven't checked it, but I'm hoping that this is clearly in focus. But I thought about the subject of focus in language learning. When we learn a language, and I find that I sort of move from being very focused on specific details to allowing, the language just to come into my brain without tremendous focus. So for example, I listen to my, Lebanese TV program. I don't really understand that much of it. I kind of half understand it. Things are starting to come into focus to the extent that I can hear clearly where one word ends and the next word begins, but I don't necessarily know that word, but it is sort of an increasing focus that's developing. But it's developing as I'm allowing this stuff to come in somewhat unfocused. And then I will go in and study that lesson sentence by sentence. So when you're studying sentence by sentence, of course, you're very much focused. And the more focused I am, the more I do the sort of vocabulary exercises like the matching pairs or trying to reconstitute the sentence, which the sentence gets scrambled, I have to put it back together again. All of this is allowing me to focus in on the language. Focusing in on the language, of course, I am not acquiring as many new words because when I'm going through the whole text, it has a lot of blue words. I'm running into these yellow words that I've saved before. I'm running into them again, not necessarily remembering them, but by running into them again, I am sort of somewhat strengthening my hold on them. So, I'm sort of pushed back and forth or pulled back and forth. So when I'm in the sort of unfocused study mode, a lot of stuff is coming in. It's a little bit fuzzy. Gradually getting a little less fuzzy. It has new words. It has a lot of yellow words that I have still not learned, but I'm covering a lot of material. And then I go and listen to it while I'm doing the dishes, and I'm also covering that material in an unfocused way. And then it's possible to start to feel frustrated because I continue not understanding this stuff. However, if I then focus in on a particular issue, like a particular sentence, or maybe a particular grammatical issue, or any particular sort of smaller smaller detail in the language, I'm always conscious of the fact, but I'm not acquiring new vocabulary. So I'm pulled one way and then the other. Either I want to get exposed to the language, I want to learn new words, I want to increase, I referred the other day to sort of my reserve, that our memory can consist of a reserve, things that have come in, that they're in reserve, but we can't yet retrieve them. But if we focus on just making sure we can retrieve those, then we're going to end up with a much narrower, focused sort of subset. So I think I often talk about the need to vary what we do in language learning, and I think to vary between sort of focusing on a small part of the language, trying to focus in on a pattern, focus in on vocabulary, focus in on a particular sentence. You still have to mix in with that the sort of background. So, and the background is part of it. Even if you're very clear, like if I have a clear picture right now on the camera and I haven't had a look at it, it's okay if the book's in the background. are a little fuzzy, and so I'm focused in the lens. But you also need the background, and we also need that sort of building up of that larger, getting used to the language, even though it's still not really very much in focus. So I just mentioned this because I was thinking about focusing my camera, and then I thought about, it does help me, even though it slows me down to go sentence by sentence and pick through it and work on the words and reassemble the sentence, which kind of shows me some aspects of grammar, because I have to try to remember or even think through which word follows which word. And while it's slowing me down, I think it is allowing me to focus in better when I listen to the sort of undifferentiated, or the sort of larger picture where there are many new words or many words that I don't know. But I get the feeling that I'm better able to focus in on these, even because of the fact that I did focus in on sentences for a while. So I tend to go back and forth on being very focused at times, and then allowing the language to come at me in a sort of unfocused way. So I don't know whether that's helpful, but I think it's important that whatever we're doing in the language, we want to feel, at least I want to feel, that what I'm doing is worthwhile. It's a worthwhile use of my time. And so for that reason, I have to remind myself that, yeah, I keep on listening to the whole story, the whole television interview, and I keep on not understanding it, but it doesn't matter, because that's building up my ability to see it more clearly, to focus better. And on the other hand, when I focus in on a more limited bit of the language, like a sentence or some aspect of the language, it's slowing me down. I'm not creating as many new links. I'm not reading as much. But by focusing in on these samples of the language, it is helping me focus again on the broader sort of range of language input that I'm getting. So I don't know if that's helpful to you. It's something that I felt was meaningful to me. It's a little bit, I should perhaps sit down and think it through and do some more research on it, but I just thought I would share that with you. So thank you for listening. Bye for now.